The drawing we're working on today is filter plate. Again, we are going to create the actual part that we see here, and we have something new, which are two circles, which represent holes for the part. We are not going to do dimensions, so we don't have to worry about trying to create those quite yet. We're just drawing the part. So where do I want to get started with this drawing? And again, I know I'm going to start with my lines. We're going to do the overall part before we start putting in features of the part. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my line command. Oops, there we go. And it says specify first point, so I can choose anywhere on my screen. I'm going to slide that over a little bit. And I'm just going to go ahead and select here. And I have to decide, again, I can start this drawing anywhere. I just, again, typically have a habit to start in the left-hand corner if I can. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and go to the right. And I'm going to only use dynamic input to do the outside feature. And then we'll use some other skills to do the two circles. So I'm going to go ahead and my measurement for my horizontal line is 2 inches. My vertical line right here that I'm creating is 1.5 inches. My horizontal line, I have to do a little bit of math because it's overall 3.5 inches. And I need to subtract the 2 inches that are already represented here. So I have 1.5. And then my overall measurement is 4, but I've already gone up 1.5. So I need to go up 2.5. My overall measurement is 3.5. Now I'm actually going to show you something. Again, I want to show you some techniques that I use as we move through the semester. We have something called object snap tracking, which is this little angle looking piece down here on our status bar. If you have that selected, what it will do is allow you to use other references of what you've drawn to help you draw something else. Now I could very easily just stretch my cursor out and type in the 3.5 inches, but I'm going to show you a real quick technique. And again, this may not be the best place to use it, but it could be something that you find useful with other components that we're going to draw throughout the semester. If I touch this endpoint and I just bring my cursor straight up, notice I have this green line. That is our object snap tracking. So it's tracking that distance here. And as it gets close to, okay, sorry for the interruption. We'll go ahead and continue. So what I was saying is when you select that endpoint and you drag your cursor straight up, it is an object snap tracking. It's tracking that horizontal, excuse me, vertical line. And as we get close to my, to being aligned with this point too, you'll see that other, basically a guideline or tracking line is created for you. So instead of actually having to put in a dimension, I can just do a quick touch on that bottom endpoint, drag it straight up, and now all I have to do is left click, and it's that 3.5 inch line. And then I'm going to go ahead and just bring this straight down. And again, with my object snap on, it's going to snap straight to that endpoint. Now, if you ever want to check a measurement of a line because you're not sure, like, oh, I tried this, but is it really aligned with this? You can go up to your measurement tool, and we're going to choose distance, and you can choose the endpoint, and it's going to tell you that measurement for you. So you can check distances, radii, radius and angle, and we'll show area and volume at another time. So let's go ahead and choose our circle command. Since it's a full circle, it's going to be in a diameter format. So when you come up to your draw, you want to do the drop-down menu and make sure that you choose center diameter, not center radius. So I'm going to go ahead and choose center diameter. And we're actually going to put this in 2 different ways. I'm going to show you a technique that will save you some time. So the first way I'm going to put it in is from this bottom left-hand corner. I know I have to go over 1 and up 2 to get to the center point. So I could very easily go ahead and place my circle here. Our diameter is 1. And then I could move it. And here's a move command. And some of these commands I just want to show you. Again, even though it may not be the best way to do it, we'll actually show you the better way to do it on the second circle. So the move command, first thing it tells you to do is select your objects. All you always have to do is read at your cursor or also down here at your command line, and it'll tell you exactly what it wants you to do. So we're going to select this circle because it's not in the right place. And then notice it still says select objects because you can select unlimited number of objects to move. So to move to the next part of the command, I'm going to right click, and now it says specify my base point. Well, again, when we're looking at circles, we know the information based off of the center. So I'm going to use the base point as the center of my circle. And see, now it's kind of stuck with my cursor. I can just drag it over that 1.00 and it's moved over 1 inch. I could then do the same thing, select my circle, hit enter, choose the center of my circle, and just drag it straight up and put in my 2 inches. And now that is in the correct location. So there's several different steps to be able to put the, draw the circle and then modify the circle by moving it. So I'm going to show you a little shortcut. Again, we're going to start off by choosing our command. We're going to draw this circle, which is in a diameter. And notice instead of this bottom left-hand corner, the measurements for the center point are actually on the right, upper right corner. So instead of placing my circle here and moving it, I'm going to do something called snap from, and I have a toolbar here to use. So you probably don't already have this toolbar. So let's first find out where it's at. And this is just a shortcut toolbar. And you'll find as you get more and more familiar with AutoCAD, you may have additional toolbars that you have up here because you use those features so often. So you're going to go to Tools. And if you by chance don't have tools, all you have is the Home, Insert, Annotate, Parametric. You want to go to this drop-down menu right here and make sure you go to Show Menu Bar because this is our menu bar here. So I'm going to go to my Tools, go down to Toolbars, AutoCAD, and I'm going to go down to Object Snap. So all of these things that you see here as we move through the course, you can actually create quick toolbars to use and put on your screen where you want them. So we're just going to use this Object Snap. All right. So let's go ahead and go back to our circle command. And what I'm going to do is go to the second option, which is the snap from. So what this allows me to do is choose a base point that I want to use as reference to put the circle in at the appropriate placement. So we're going to choose snap from. And the first thing it asks for is the base point. So since my center of my circle is based off of this corner, I'm going to choose this corner on my drawing. Once I choose my base point, the next thing it asks me for is what's your measurements? What's the offset from that base point? So what if I'm using this as my new 00, and that's basically what it's doing for you. When you put the snap from, you're basically telling the computer, hey, I want this to be my 00, and then I'm going to use my XY coordinates to be able to put the center point of this circle in. So what I need to do is I need to go Shift and at, because again, we got to tell the computer I want to use the base point as my 00 just for this one command. And then I need to go to the left. This center of the circle is going to be moving to the left along the X axis. So it's going to be a negative 1.00, comma, and then it's going to be going down along the Y axis. So then you'll see that it'll be a negative because it's moving below, again, in that downward movement. So I'm going to put in my negative 1.00 and hit enter. And notice that is now the center point of my circle. So basically, again, that snap from allows you to choose a point as a reference point to put in the center point of our circle. And now all I have to do is put in my measurement. And I know it's 1.0 because I have this little note over here that says, you know, there's two circles that are a diameter of 1. And again, don't forget these are representing holes. But since we're looking at it in a 2D form, I'll probably say circle a lot because that's also our draw command. So let's go ahead and put in our 1.00. And there is your finished filter plate.